Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Garden, Quilt, and Art Show. Frankie Romero, my sister from another mister, is here. She's from the Facebook side, you guys. And for those of you who have been following me, a couple of weeks ago, I got a big box, a huge box of denim that was already cut up. It was from my sister Frankie Romero out in Utah, and she's joining us from the Facebook side for the first time. I managed to get it posted over there. So I'm making idly biddly footprints in the snow as an elder social media person. So Maria Graham says hello. Mike's Chaotic Gardening. My last show live, it was interesting because I had Unbiased LLC. Yep, I just ran in here all sweaty, busy day. Unbiased LLC, and she calls me Nanny. Well, Frankie Romero and I have been sister friends. Wellness with Frugal Mama, thank you. Thank you, those of you who are coming in from Facebook, from YouTube, in the bushes, because it's 1 o'clock on the West Coast, 4 o'clock in the East Coast, and those of you who have jobs and somewhere to be need to be doing it. Val creates. Oh, those are some beautiful necklaces and bracelets you're making, my sis. But going back to sisters and brothers, you don't have to share DNA to be sisters and brothers. I've had sisters and brothers for over 70 years that were not related to me by blood, but from caring. For those of you who believe in the Bible, well, not the Bible. Most of you know that it's a book, at any rate, a written book, and there are 32 words in the Bible for the word love. Love does not mean that you have to share DNA. You have to share common ideals, common values, common care, and agape love, where you have the other's back, the other's heart, no matter what, by any means necessary. Karen's little garden. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, that reminds me, you guys. I have been fiddling around with connections, and I wasn't, I wasn't. Now it says that when I try to do something, it's trying to charge me on my own channel. Bougie Prepper, hola sobrina, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Miss Karen, did you Roxanne up? Roxanne must be some kind of equipment, which everybody needs on the homestead or just walking around your garden these days. Oh, I had a funny short. I was in the park one morning and I was down near the water where I usually take Mr. Hershey. Mike saying, hi, Dolores. I think those of you who have been here with me for a while know that when you see all these fancy graphics and whatnot, and you see both of my hands, that Dolores is with us in the background, and she is my technical advisor. She comes in and helps me with things, gives me certain advice, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, what I should be posting, what I should be learning how to do. And I am. I feel like my mother told me about 20 years ago, and my brother got my mother her first smartphone, her first iPhone, the very first one that came out. And my mother looked around. She says, "Oh, but I can't talk to any of my friends. I can't FaceTime them because they don't have this one." Almost Healing with Janet. I don't know what that is that you put in, but hashtag something. It doesn't work on here, whatever it is. If you want to drop your channel
Actually,
on, yes.
that means some people gonna come in from another channel. It's a raid.
Oh, well, thank you. Dolores tells me that others from other channels will be coming in. And this is a good time because I am finishing up a Father's Day celebration and working on some other things. Hello, Mother. Mike's Chaotic Gardening is saying, Hi, Mom. And my granddaughter Janet is saying, We just finished my live with Peach, Auntie Ellen, and we are rating you. Come on in, sit on down, and I'll get you something to drink. Daddy always, oh, this is my dad's watch, you guys. This big watch that you see me wearing, he's in heaven now. And before he passed, this was his everyday watch. He never wore a watch when he worked before he retired because he worked in construction and with his hands, and you can't wear things like that will get caught and you get hurt. Janet said she has her dad's watch as well. Now, those of you, Crafty Leo, saying hello, hello, hello. Those of you who are in blue are moderators. I'd like to thank each and every one of you. Those in green or with special emojis, they are friends and family members. And it is $1.99 a month if you care to support the channel. And there are some gifted memberships. I don't know how that happens, but I don't pick out the ones who get the gifted ones. Somehow YouTube does it. I don't know how a lot of stuff is done. Big Rooster Show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, nephew. I saw something funny on IG that I wanted to share with you guys. Um, it was about avoiding conflict or conflict resolution in these YouTube streets. If you're going out to thousands of people, hundreds, whatever, you're bound to tick somebody off. Maybe not tick them off, rub them the wrong way. They disagree. They have opinion, and everybody has one. They're like one of everything we all have, like a nose or whatever, or nose. But this was really funny. And a lady put it up. It says, I'm not avoiding conflict. I have anger management issues and I'm trying to avoid jail. Now that sounds like me. When I avoid them, it's like, nope, I'm not going down that road. It's like once you cross that line in the sand, I don't know what you gonna get. And I'm sure you won't want it. And I'll probably be sorry about it. Not sorry about it, but I'll probably wish I hadn't. Or who was that? Who said that? Oh, no, she didn't say those little bad words. Shame on you, Nana, Auntie, Elder. And I seldom do. I seldom do. I seldom do. But, everybody has limits. Deborah Garrett, thank you for coming and welcome. Blissful Acres, Off Grid, another sister. I haven't seen much of the 81 chickens you got about a month ago. So I want to say that my sister, Frankie Romero, did get her gift. I sent her one of the denim cross shoulder bags. And I just want to thank each and every one of you. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. Frankie and I met way before I had a channel. I am, well, I'm advanced in the quilting community, and she and I met in the quilting community on Facebook. I was not on YouTube. When I went on YouTube, it was kind of in my professional work life, and I had to go through like dumbing down all the stuff that I used to do because I didn't come on here to do that. I just came on here to share what I know about life, the 8 generations that I have been alive on this earth. There are 6 living generations, and I was alive for 2 generations before that. I remember all 4 of my grandparents. 3 were born in the late 1800s. The youngest one was born in 1911, and I have a picture with one of my great grandmothers. And so we've been passing along a lot of traditions, a lot of ways of doing stuff. Oh, yes, we were making masks together. a couple of years ago, Frankie and I made a couple of thousand masks and I donated them to hospitals, universities, senior citizens, children's places. And one time I had three machines in the shop at one time. Hospitals couldn't get masks at that time, and you had to wait to get the elastic, and it was quite a journey. And we use our best quilting fabric, which is a high grade of cotton. It's the difference in getting the sheets that say like there's so many thread counts per inch, and getting the one that are mixed with polyester and rub your skin the wrong way, so and make you itch. So that's the difference. And she and I cut up yards and yards and yards of our good fabric. And we're glad that we did. We're glad that we did. And I've been following most of your channels. On, what did I say? Peach, Crooked Peach comes up early in the morning. I'm up usually doing my exercises. Bias has her hands full right now. She's saying hello to all. And the bag that she made the other night on our live on, was it Thursday, Saturday? I have my days and nights mixed up. Anyway, she's donating it to Auntie Ellen, and I am going to make her one of my bags, one of a kind. Frankie Romero said she made 1,600 masks. That's a lot, you guys. And I don't remember hers. I barely remember mine, but I had a helper here the other day, and she was saying that her mask hurt her face. And she was a full size woman, plus size like myself, and the commercial mask hurt her face. So I went to my pile of masks, now that you mentioned it, Frankie, and I gave her one of my double sided cloth masks that she can wash, or at least have in her vehicle, whatever, in case of an emergency. And I packaged all mine in a plastic bag so that when people needed one, or if there was an emergency and there were none of the disposable ones away, that I could give them out. Mine, I can't usually wear again, the disposable ones, because I have lipstick on underneath my mask. Oh, yes, just because I have my mask on, don't think my lips aren't dead. My lips are dead under here. Lip pencil and liner. I just love it. That's all I wear. Oh, and a little what do you call it? Eyebrow stuff, because my eyebrows are not in the same family. They act up. So I try to even them up and make them match, and a little shadow, but I don't wear anything on my skin. Everything breaks me out. A funny story. So everybody is out in the garden planting things. And how many of you have a lot of bees in your yard fertilizing things? Frankie says she loves lipstick too. One day after our live, and I go live at 6 p.m. on Saturday. So sometimes I get off 7, 8 o'clock. The kids were asking me, "What did you do to grandma?" Speaking of my mother was watching the live in the bushes. Somebody in the house or her aide or somebody will put the chat, my live chat on, and they said, "Well, grandma was up 9:30 at night putting on her lipstick, talking about she wanted to go out, somebody pick her up and take her out. She wanted to go out dancing." Go, mom. Go, mom. And another thing Frankie and I have in common, we both have an Aaron. My only son's name is Aaron. And he comes into the chat once in a while. He definitely monitors my my social media, my attire, what is said. He's funny. And he's totally 2A, and he lives in LA. There's a channel called 2A in LA. That's not my son. and he teaches capoeira, and he's totally into fitness. Like he squats, I think he benches like in the 400s, 450 something, does leg presses. Oh my goodness. So what, Darth X, thank you. She says, he says, lots of bees, including ones you haven't seen before. You're waiting for more flowers to draw them in. Frankie said, my son is handsome. He really, really, really is handsome. So let me tell you what happened to me in the gym. I go to an orthopedic sports gym for my rehabilitation. I had a complete knee replacement 2 months ago. So I'm doing leg curls with my knee. I'm on this type of equipment. I'm moving this so you guys can see something. And then all of a sudden, I feel this bang on my knee. OMG. Do you know what happened? One of the kids who had a sports injury, and when I say kids, we're talking about college young people, and she was walking around doing something near me with a 40-pound kettlebell in her left hand. I'm on my machine, concentrating on what I'm doing, concentrating on keeping my hand out of the mechanism, and knowing this is like my next to last thing that I have to do, my hour of exercising with a trainer, and something crashes my knee that I just had operated on. This child hit me with the kettlebell. I mean, it wasn't like a full on crash or hit, but on something that's already tender. And you just had a whole replacement. Oh my goodness. So I yell out like a 2-year old wants attention. I'm like, ow! Because she just kind of kept walking. And I'm like, oh, acknowledgement over here. And when she goes, ow, then the two trainers that were hovering over her, and like whenever there are pretty girls in the gym, there are always trainers hovering around her. She's tall. She's about 6 feet tall, a volleyball player, one of the good volleyball players in one of the colleges in town. And she was genuinely concerned. She says, oh, miss, I am so sorry. And she turned and she walked back towards me. And I said, that's okay, sweetie. You didn't do it on purpose. I said, it did hurt, but you didn't do it on purpose. One of those things, ouch me's, that make you sweat. So finally, the two trainers with her said, what happened? None of them ever said, well, are you okay? Anything like that. Oh, not to worry. Nana knows how to advocate for herself. So my trainer was across the room because they double train, cross train, and they had pretty girls. All the trainers are about all the pretty girls. Yeah, if you old and just there, if you're an elder, you on your own, but you advocate for yourself. You've already learned, and what did they say? Beauty fades and power remains. So when you get to be an elder, you retain your power, and you not only do you retain it, you know what your powers are. So I put my little finger up, like, garçon, waiter, trainer, we're finished here. No, we're finished. Would you like some ice? Yes, indeed. And so he made sure I went over and I started icing my knee. And they usually ice it for 10 minutes. So about 5 minutes, he was avoiding looking at me. And I guess they didn't want an injury in the gym. Oh, well, um, hang on. Auntie Ellen is still there. So I called him and I said, make sure you notate that there was a little bumping, a little hit and run, a little hip and keep walking, and make sure it's noted. I might need a few extra therapy sessions, you know what I mean? And then they still didn't say anything. So when I got home, I called my surgeon and I said, Dr. XYZ, Frankie said, that's why I love you. Dr. XYZ, we had a little incident in the training room, and I just want to make sure that there's an x-ray taken and some notes taken and put in my chart, and that they know the out there league auntie. No, they don't want this. They don't want this. And by the way, for those of you who are new, I worked in the legal profession. I worked in the legal profession, and I have my degree background is in business. I know how to write reports. I know how to do whatever it is that I need to do. I actually had like 4 or 5 paralegal certificates and 2 years of law school. So they don't want that. So they waited until tomorrow. So after my training session tomorrow, and it really does hurt though. It really does hurt. And my son, who teaches, who does training in martial arts at UCLA, when he was here doing doing a spot check on me. I didn't know he was coming, him or my daughter. He said, Mom, ice is colder than those gel packs or those gel machines. So he and another subscriber bought me an ice maker. I live in a handicap apartment. The freezer, for the first time in 40 years, does not have the ice thing in the door and the water and all that. So I have a separate ice machine. And remember these old thingies? These old thingies, I bought one of those and I put ice in it, and it's colder than all of the other things I have around here. So, Darth X, Google senior corporate paralegal. Yeah, we were good, but then I graduated from that and I started consulting. But I used my legal and business training in my work. So if anybody's interested in, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm whatever, but I don't want to work anymore. I'm retired. I want to work on the heritage arts. I want to do what I love and love what I do. So what I'm going to show you guys is anybody making their Father's Day gift. And shout out to all of the significant others, whether you were an uncle and auntie, just whoever supported the children in the community. I want to say thank you. I've seen Frugal Mama reaching out to the youth in the community. I think that we all have a mission to do that. I have volunteered after I retired. I volunteered in an after school program at a local middle school, and I taught summer camp. I also taught, what do you call it, children who were the gifted children who were in college. So I did both of those things. Those things. I have I have children from 4 to, I want to say, 60, whether they were adopted, I took them in, whatever. I was a young mom. I was a teenage mom. And so my children's friends became my children as well. In fact, I want to remember to tell you all, Dolores said she's making gifts. Uh, I will not be live on Saturday. I will post it in the community chat because 3 of my niece daughters are coming here to visit me, and we're going to have girls' weekend in. I have not seen them since the shutdown. Darth planted trees for their mom on Mother's Day, trying to figure out what to plant for their dad. And hey, Sissy, how many fingers, Sissy? How many fingers? If you wonder why I'm doing that to my sister, Joanne Stephen is my DNA sister, and she had eye surgery yesterday, and she's either still at the doctor or just got home. So I hope you're okay, Sissy. How many fingers? How many fingers? That's Dart. Girls' weekend, yes. We watched movies. We get wine, we have fun, and we just generally enjoy each other. So I will go on to our topic for the day, and I want to show you some of the other things. Maybe I will get it finished for Father's Day. What this is, hopefully, I will get it done either for Father's Day or Juneteenth. June 19th, 1865, is when news of the Emancipation Proclamation. Sissy said it looks like 19 fingers. That's funny. That's funny. Nope, I don't have my toes up. They're not polished. When news of the Emancipation Proclamation reached Texas, and everybody who had been enslaved was truly, you use your margaritas to make, I mean, the ice maker to make margaritas. Maybe I need to make a margarita so I can get my words shaped correctly. So, what this is a, let me see if I can measure it, about a 4 foot, because it's doubled. Oh, no, 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 no. It's only double one, two. It's doubled over twice. It's like a 2 foot section of mud cloth that was hand carried somewhere. Let me put it this way so I won't have to hold it up. My poor little arms get so tired. A piece of mud cloth, and it was the original unbleached mud cloth and stained with whatever they use, the ink or whatever, hand stamped. And my friend raised their daughter as a single parent. When I say they, because when she went to visit them, I'm learning to use pronouns. When she went to visit, when she, my friend, went to visit her daughter, them. See, I get my pronouns all mixed up. But anyway, she kept saying they. I'm like, who's living with my goddaughter? What do you mean they? She said, "Oh, I'm just using pronouns." She's a writer, so she's a little better at it. I try. Oh, you meant for the girls' weekend? Yes, I will make it. I like mojitos, and I have fresh mint. There are several types of mint growing in my garden, so there will be some rum and some lime and some whatever else involved, maybe some Tito's. So she raised her child as a single parent, and her child is now a professional sommelier. And she's on IG, the petite sommelier. She is very petite, and I just love her to death. When I used to go visit her mother, she used to keep her best wines in a locked closet away from her mother's friends, right? Because we would buy our own wine. And it would be nice wine, but it would not be the quality of a professional sommelier has in their staff. So we have fun. When she's in town, she comes to visit me. She was here like a couple months ago and brought somebody who was a curator at a museum to see some of my art. My apartment looks like a museum. I have a lot of my art up. So this I'm going to try to finish for Father's Day for my friend, because when I moved here and I got my community garden down the street, I couldn't do anything for myself. I could barely walk to the garden, get in my chair, and her and a couple of my other friends, one of which is a master gardener. She's taking the master gardener course now. She moved back to Connecticut from I want to say Brooklyn, where she had a rooftop garden that grew like 200 pounds of food. And they come over and assist me in the garden. I have two new raised beds that I have to get some help with, and I will be planting. Yankee's sister sent someone over yesterday to drop off a couple of plants. I didn't bring them inside yet because I didn't know if any gnats were in there. And it was a nice day out today, so I left them out there. I will be planting them. So I'm going to take my earpiece out for a minute. I won't be able to hear you for a while, Dolores, because I don't want to knock things over. But before I do that, I want to show you guys what I'm working on. The quilt, this Father's Day quilt, was made out of old work shirts, dress shirts. I want you to see this. I stopped working 10 years ago. I did a few working, and you can see where I put my shirts in the cleaners. These had French cuffs. I wore cufflinks like a real gentleman, and and my pearls. Sometimes a tie, sometimes a bow tie, and this is a fitted shirt. So Auntie was sharp, 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 and then this one is a polo shirt, and I enlarged a quilt out of my dad's old clothes because he worked all of his life as a blue collar tradesman to send his 6 kids to college so that we could get white collar jobs. So this is my tribute to Daddy, and I cut up I cut up my shirts and I enlarged his memory quilt. Well, one of my subscribers saw my quilt and wanted one for their father for Father's Day. And I want to show you Janet, Homesteading with Janet asked me about deboning uh, deboning pants. I have deboned some jeans on video or something. I have not deboned a shirt live, but I will because it's like deboning a chicken. You take the seams out, open the pieces up, and there is so much fabric inside the shirts, inside the jeans. I have piles of jeans over there, and I'm making my mother a king size quilt. It's going to be all denim. Hers will not have batting inside. This quilt I'm going to show you because it will be going out by Monday, and it's for someone's father. And I just love this quilt. I deboned all these jeans myself. I did use my sister Frankie's jean patches that she sent. Oh, and by the way, let me show you something because I had one of you tell me that you saw somebody deboning jeans and cutting out pockets. I do a lot of cross shoulder bags for, I like them for the phone, whatever, when I'm outside. I went outside in the garden yesterday to water. I did something I shouldn't do. I put my phone in my bra. Nobody needs all that radioactivity next to the girls. Nobody needs that. But I didn't want my phone to get wet, so I had on a top and some leggings. I didn't have anywhere to put my phone. I will because I will make some. But I want to show you some of how I debone jeans and how I cut out my jean pockets. Well, you can cut yours out however you want. Memory quilts are so special, so special. Susan Blissful Acres, she has a denim quilt on her bed. It's just lovely, and it's heavy enough. You do not, I repeat, you do not need batting, especially if you live in one of the warmer climates. I put batting in this one by special request because this gentleman was raised in the South and he wanted one of those old heavy quilts like grandma used to have. But I want you to see something. You see these quilts, these pockets? I didn't cut next to the pocket themselves on these. On mine, I always leave at least an inch and a half on all sides because it makes it easier. I don't have any of the pocket crossbody bags, but it makes it easier to sew. You don't have to worry about sewing on these double seams, these hard seams. These will break a lot of needles, and it makes, whoops, have to drop something in order for it to be live, right? So these are all pockets that I myself deboned because all of the shirts and pants and this particular quilt I cut up myself. And then I made special little blocks out of them. Look at this. This is when I did a live and I showed how to take crumbs. Fresh and fire. Backyard living. You finally caught me live. You so want to learn how to quilt? Well, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the notification bell. I'm not bragging, but I've been quilting. I've been sewing for over 50 years, and I don't try to show off or show all that I know on here, but I do want to say there is nothing about quilting that I do not know how to do. I had a 1,500 square foot studio before I downsized, complete with long arm machine, you know, director on the board of directors for several large quilt guilds. But I want you to see some of the blocks in this quilt. It is all, the blocks are all sewn together. It's going to be a heavy quilt. Let me just turn it around because what I did was cut the blocks out. Then I made some of them into really cute blocks, if I do say so myself. Like this block, I tried to make it look like a shirt. This tan one, you see where I sewed a strip in the middle of it? I used some green that looked like kind of army fabric. This gentleman, this was a blue Ralph Lauren shirt. Cut up $400 worth of shirts to go in here, but it's for a good cause. This is for a good cause. So I laid the quilt out. First, it was on the bed, then it was on the floor, so I wouldn't have to walk all the way back to my bedroom. I live in an 800 square foot small, I guess you could call it tiny home. So I don't have all the space in the world. Everything has to double. So I have a gray cover on my bed and I lay things out on that. But look at this block. For those of you who weren't here when I started on it, then I had to stop and do Mother's Day stuff. I made this one look like a shirt. I even left the buttons on it. I sewed the buttons back on. This is going to be so interesting when it's fringed. This one, I cut pieces of shirt together. I left the button on, and this will be fringed. Then I found some watermark batik. Sissy, I bought this one in Arizona, you and Susan, at the 35th Avenue sewing vac when we bought that fabric. And I tried to turn it all around. Look at this block made with all crumbs. This is the most labor intensive rag quilt I have ever made because you think your house is 1,500 square feet? Oh, okay. That's a fine size. And then here's another block that I made to look like a shirt by sewing things on. So I tried to make it meaningful. And dun, 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 a custom patch on the front that says original by Pankey and my three purple hearts signature made by none other than Unbiased LLC. These were specially embroidered. By the way, you guys, those of you don't know, Unbiased has, I think, a 6-pin embroidery machine. Blissful Acres sent me some of her hoops because I have a baby lock and I haven't been using it lately because I can only keep one machine out at a time. And I had some quilting things I wanted to work on. And she downsized from her brother, whichever brother she had, and she gave me her hoops that will fit a baby lock, that will fit a baby lock. She'll be back in a while. Hubby's ready for dinner. Thank you, Janet. And Frankie loves rag quilts. So this one, oh, and what I want to tell you, those of you who make rag quilts, do what you want to, and everybody has their own way of doing it. But I want to show you, and those of you in the bushes, please hit the thumbs up button and come back and leave a comment. I love, love, love reading comments. So I put some blue heavy duty rayon Madeira thread because this quilt will, I promise, will be around 100 years. And when you stitch up and down, I wanted you to see, because it doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to fringe it. I sewed I sewed across the rows. I sewed them one by one with this heavy duty polyester thread. But then when I did the long columns, when I sewed them twice. I sewed them down, then I sewed them up, because somebody could have this on their bed. They could have a ring on, it could get caught. It could get caught on some jewelry. It could get caught on furniture. It could get on anything. And this is a weighted blanket, Frankie. This one is so heavy. And you can see when you lay them out, you guys, you want to leave the numbers on until the bitter end. I wanted to show you all that I left the numbers on, because sometimes you think you remember the rows and the rows get mixed up. And there is nothing, I'm trying to let you guys see my lap. There's nothing worse than going through one of these quilts, or one with like 15 columns. You've sewn it all together, laid it out, got your pattern just the way you wanted. And guess what? You got two of them, like you got the five before the four, and then you have to pick it out because it messed up your pattern. Another thing that Unbiased said when she was live, and she was talking about chain piecing, chain piecing. A lot of people choose to, stack them and just pick the next one up. You don't want keep an eye on your bobbin. You don't want your bobbin to run out and then you think you were sewing and then all your pieces are all mixed up. Like some of these stripes, some of them I have them going horizontally, some of them I have them going vertically. And then some of the quilts, when I sewed all the blocks and I put them on, there's no such thing as a perfect quilt. The Amish take the quilts, they always sew one block that's different, backwards, upside down. I want to show you something. So I wanted to tell a story. Frankie said that's what she does. So not only did I want to tell a story, but the gentleman getting this quilt, oops, that was my phone that time. The gentleman getting this quilt is religious. He's been going to church every day. I mean, every Sunday, prays every day. My daddy used to get down his knees every night until he couldn't anymore. And he prayed on his knees every night between jobs. He always worked 3 jobs, 2 every day, and then a different one on the weekend. And I wanted to show you something, because the father, those of you believe, is always working. I put a piece of the sleeve in the back, but I put 3 of them for those who believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So I put that on the Sabrina Wright. Sabrina Wright, you guys, is at a senior center on Facebook. I believe that's the Sabrina Wright. So what I am going to do, does anybody have any questions? What I'm going to do is go over to that heavy duty singer, and Crafty Leo, I want to show you. She's so neat. She's so neat and fancy. I saw you, cutie pie, getting all the strings off your clothes. All the strings off your clothes. So sometimes, like when I was with my different quilt guilds, and I'd stop, say, at Walmart on my way home after sewing all day. Maria Graham goes to some places, some guilds, and sews all day. And people would say, "Hey, miss, you have strings all over your clothes." Yeah, I know. So I keep this in here now because I like to wear black. I like to wear black when I'm creating, whether I'm painting or whatever I'm doing, because it doesn't take away It does not take away from all the colors of the art I'm creating around around me. So I will take this over to the sewing machine and I will do a little bit with you guys. Oh, before I do, don't forget, don't forget I mean, don't forget exclamation mark GQUAT to drop your link. And if you see a channel that you don't know, that you've never been to, visit each other. Visit each other. Blissful Acres, I don't mind ragging quilts. Well, one thing, I don't do them as closely as I used to. I used to do them like really a quarter inch, a quarter inch. Now it's more like a third of an inch. And I do have the special rag quilt shears that I will show you guys. So let me see how I will do this. I will put that over there. And let's see if I can carry my equipment. And I will stand up. You guys see how fast I can stand up now? With two new knees, a new hip. I dare say I am bionic. Okay. So slowly I turned, inch by inch, step by step. I used to watch the Little Stooges when we were little. We were so devilish. We would get in trouble. Mommy wouldn't let us watch the Little Rascals or the Three Stooges because our six kids were acting like Little Rascals and Three Stooges. And by the way, I still challenge each of you to at least take 15 minutes a day and do something you love. You know, you can't be stressed. It's like walking and chewing bubble gum at the same time. You can't do it. You take the stress out of your mind, and when you're working with your hands, trying to remember what you're doing. So I will turn on this heavy duty machine. I will put my little bell over here. And these are called rag quilt scissors. And what they do is they're very, very powerful. They are very powerful. Now, when you have the coupons where you buy one thing that's full price and you get 40% off, 50% off, 60% off, this is the type of thing you want to buy. And because all this power, and I don't know about fulcrums and angles and all that engineering stuff, but I don't know if you can see, like with a good knife. I see some of you cooking with those big blades. Can you see how thick these blades are? And they are very, very sharp. These particular ones are by Fiskars, and I only use that. Valsa used to watch Little Rascals or one of those shows, and it has a spring. So not only are you cutting, like, see, these are actually new pinking shears because my other ones were 50 years old. I had since high school. So these are pretty sharp. I use my 50-year-old ones for when I do my fabric postcards. So I have these. I get excited. I start talking fast. Mother, I know you'll tell me. I started going fast. So I want you to see these. And you open them, you close them. You open them, you close them. What's different about these is that they have the little spring in there. See the spring? And when you close them, they open up. It doesn't seem like it's important, but when you have to close it and open a few thousand times, like Blissful Acres says, that is a lot. And when you're doing a big quilt, a heavy duty quilt, this one has 2 layers of heavy fabric. Heavy fabric. And yes, I'm using a denim needle on this heavy duty sewing machine, like sifting some sources, baby, those little lightweight machines, they gonna choke. In basketball, they have a thing when you go up for your shot and the opposing player is intimidating and you choke, you don't want to take that shot in front of them, you're scared they're gonna block you. Yeah, well, literally those lightweight machines will choke when you're sewing through like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 layers of fabric, plus maybe some leather. So here's 2 layers here, 2 layers here, plus cotton batting, pure cotton batting, and it's a lot. So what I'm going to be doing is going around the edge and putting maybe a 3/4 inch line of stitching. And when it comes to the edge where the seams are, it doesn't matter which way you sew across them. For ease, just sew across going the same way, because when you take your shears, your heavy duty shears, and you never cut into the stitching in the corners, you want to cut at an angle. Did you see that? How quickly that it cut through all those layers. Actually, I will show you how I do it, because I'm going to sew around the edges, but maybe I'll find a brighter color. Yeah, I'll cut this one. I'll clip this one. So you see where it's sewn down here in the corner? I will cut on an angle. And if it doesn't cut the first time, just take little sniffs. Like you put a big mouthful of food, you can't swallow it all at the same time. I'm trying to hold it down and get you guys a good angle. So maybe instead of sewing around there, because you guys get the general idea, and I'm going to put at least a 5/8 inch seam going around the edge, and I'm going to go around twice. Why twice? Just for extra insurance. Like where I did the quilting, I just put an X on the block, but let me lift this heavy thing up and show you. Trying to find, this looks like an interesting block. Yeah, so this is an angle. And when you do things on a video, you have to do the opposite. The opposite. So I'm going to the bottom, and I'm going to show you how I clip. So you see how thick the seam is? Some people, like somebody was saying, I see some people, they showed several times, they did it an inch. An inch, 5/8 of an inch, whatever you want, do what you want. There's no person on social media that knows more than the other one. They do what they like. Do what you like, just like when you're in your kitchen. So I cut this little angle, like sort of to the corner, and I'm just gonna. It's hard to cut upside down. Trying to see how I can do it and show you guys what. So here I go. Can you hear that little crisp little cut? Crisp. Oh, those of you who were channel members as of Saturday, Dolores made a cute little shout out. And those of you who became channel members in the Friends and Family Club, you will be in the June Friends and Family shout out. Whether you were gifted a membership or you purchased one. So you see what I'm doing here? I actually have a button, because this is one of those fancy blocks that I made. So I'm just cutting around the button. And what happens, and because denim, and you see this little part, when it's washed, this will fringe up as well. All of these pieces will fringe up. By the way, if I didn't tell you guys, Miss Shirley OG Gardner is going live at 7 o'clock. Vision Preparedness, Vision Preparedness, Garden State Gardener with the new channel. Grow Big TV. He's going live. They support the channel. Yes, Frankie, there are a million ways to do things. Blissful Acres says, try ragging my way. This one is easier. My mother's quilt won't have the batting in it. That was a special request. And there's a lot of the batting in it. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. 6 layers in the corner. This is going to be a heavy quilt. So you guys, if you invest in one thing, invest in making your life easier. And when we get to the end of the live, please stay because we have a special outro that is made, and it's about the channel, and it's very interesting. We still have a few minutes, so I will show you instead of just sewing around the edge. You've seen people sew straight. Frankie says, thanks, they look good. They look good, sis. Thank you. So I will be cutting each one of these seams. I'll try to find another one that is a color that's easier to see. So the reason I'm showing, oh, I love this block. Look at this block with all the ends and pieces. This is one of the blocks I made with crumbs. All the pieces of the blocks. So here's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces to make this block. That wasn't necessary. I've never done that much work in making one. You use 2 flannel pieces and no batting? Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to. This is a special request. Me here in New England, I make the one on my bed that I made with my dad's. I made like this. Oh, and you know what? Another thing. I put this one is going to be a healing and spiritual quilt. I will put a few drops of patchouli oil in it. Grandmama Grows Hard in the Garden is growing patchouli here in the United States, but I will put some essential oil on it. And when you wash these quilts, you wash them in like medium, warm, cool water, and then you dry them. Don't Try not to use your home washing machine. If you do, don't put anything in the washing machine with this quilt because it's going to make a big mess. And stop it after 10 minutes. Clean the lint screen out. And don't leave it in there because it's going to be a lot of lint. A lot of lint. I used to wash mine 3 times before I gave it to anyone. This one, since I have to pay for it and use the commercial machine in my building, Barb Brownlee, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. And so I will maybe cut up one more block so that you can see, and try to be careful not to cut into your blocks. So I'm cutting down into this one where you can see it. And I cut the corners usually. And the width of the stripes on the shirt is actually a nice size. You hear how crisp that is, Susan? My sister? And tell your other half the auntie loves him. I'm just not saying his name on the air without permission. But that's one of my another sister friend. I call myself Auntie Ellen. I'm not old enough to be their aunt. Oh, guess what? I have two living aunts still at my age on my dad's side. And my Aunt Shangy, it's her birthday today. She's 8 years older than me. I was the first one to call her this morning and wish her happy, happy birthday, baby. She's my baby. I love her so much. I have two aunties. I'm a bug in the rug. I'm the oldest. I'm always bugging them about family, family history, stories, what they remember about their grandmother. They were raised in North Carolina in the South, and I was raised in Connecticut. And then they all moved up here, but I want to know the stories from down there. So, vision preparedness is going on at 8. Oh, Unbiased LLC says, Happy birthday, Auntie. And oh my gosh, she makes the best cabbage. She cuts her cabbage like coleslaw, very, very fine, and her collards. You're going to get some of those scissors. Yes, Frankie, don't make another quilt without rag quilt without this. You'll thank me. You'll thank me. So, do any of you, a crafty Leo, I want you to get a pair of these scissors because you said that you wanted to make something with me, and this would be a good project, and it's a great family project as well. And you don't need batting where you live. So, does anybody have any questions? Let me put my ear back in case Fresh Fire and Backyard Living is leaving. And yes, I do have an earpiece. I didn't like it at first, but I realize now I need it. Crafty Leo says, Happy birthday to my auntie. Messing up my hair. Oh, that's what I love about this hair. I feel like a poodle. I just shake it and it goes. So, without further ado, I will see you guys. This is an ILU. I love you. Send us the link to the scissors. Okay. Now, I can send you a link, right, unbiased, but they're different prices in different stores. So, you guys, I will send you the one that anyone that has a bargain, and I'll see if I can find who has the the link to these scissors because when you get my age, you'll have arthritis in your hands. You will thank me. So, Dolores, would you be kind enough to play the outro so that we can wish everyone who has been kind enough to come see us a happy? I will see you next Thursday, you guys. Peace, love, and blessings.